Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Greg's coming to you on the wee hours of the morning of 31 October. Yes, Halloween morning. And I'm coming here to you to report a warning. As you may recall, I did a video just a couple weeks back where I talked about the State Department making a warning to Iran and Venezuela. And it was about Iran delivering missiles to Venezuela. And basically the State Department had said that the U.S. would destroy any missile, any potential long-range missile sent from Iran to Venezuela. But there was just some big shipment that landed in there with a 747 from Iran to Venezuela last Tuesday. Not only that, but the State Department, actually the Navy has been making some seizures that's going up for sale of weapons that went to the Houthis rebels in Yemen, and also oil that was destined for oil-rich Venezuela from Iran. What? Yeah, there's some odd things we're going to get into here. But before we do, let's get into just talking a little bit real quick about, I got a special right now. $100 off a 4-week supply of food that lasts 25 years. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hey, get this and you will be a winner because it's lightweight. It's easy to handle. It is freeze-dried, dehydrated. So it's light. 2 of these makes a 4-week supply for an individual, 2,000 calories per day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Get this, you'll be a winner, $100 off. Great deal. It's not like some of those other suppliers you're seeing that the like in their ads and what moment just start push across the threshold. That's easy to handle. Your kids can have. You can prep with it. And in fact, just show you real quick, go to prepwithgreg.com. This is where you go to get this, okay? Prepwithgreg.com. And not only can you get this, look, great price right now, and it's real food. Check this stuff out, and you get drinks and desserts too. And right now the price is exceptionally great, but you'll still get $100 off for this. You got a discount over here for 2-week supply, which is 1 bucket, 1 versus 2. Great stuff. Also, you got a My Patriot Supply logo here, and get other prepping supplies which you might need right now. This is one time to prep survival items, water filtration, air purification, a lot more, and a whole lot more options on food, including gluten-free. Somebody asked me about gluten-free. Bam, there it is. Food number 10 cans. I kind of like those too. So bam, let's stop that share. And let's talk about what's going on. So what happened here, as you may recall, Elliot Abrams, who is the U.S. State Department special rep to Iran and Venezuela, he said the following. He said that the transfer of long-range missiles from Iran to Venezuela is not acceptable to the United States and will not be tolerated nor permitted. And another State Department representative made the following statement: we will make every effort to stop the shipment of long-range missiles from Iran to Venezuela. And if they somehow get to Venezuela, we will destroy them there. Wow. He said they would be eliminated. That's a huge statement. Are we going to do that? What would happen if we did that? But hey, gee, guys, get this. A cargo plane belonging to Iranian airlines sanctioned by the United States landed in Venezuela Tuesday, and it was not clear what it brought. Even with the atmosphere, the continued pressure from the United States on both Iran and Venezuela. The airline was the Kazem Fars airline. Okay, excuse me if my Farsi is a little off. Kazem Fars airline, which is a freight line. It landed a Boeing 747, a freight 747 in the Venezuelan capital in Caracas. And of course, the Venezuela political opposition, Manuel Olivares, tweeted this out Tuesday to Reuters, and they didn't know what was in it. So, good question with everything going on. And be it known also that the United States Justice Department had just announced in court filings Thursday, according to Fox News, that there is forcing a bid on the items that was seized by the U.S. Navy from Iran, being shipped to both Yemen and to Venezuela. And to Yemen, they were shipping lots and lots of smaller tactical missiles. I mean, and it's said to be enough to equip quite a force, a good number of these. And there were several tankers of oil, that fuel, that Iran was shipping to Venezuela. What? Venezuela has got tons of fuel. Why in the world was Iran sending fuel to Venezuela? 4 tankers, no less. 4 tankers were going from Iran to Venezuela. Could it possibly be the communist government of Venezuela just can't operate? They're supposed to be oil rich. They've got oil, they can't even produce it, and the people there are starving to death. So here you got an oil-rich nation. The cause of failed communism is having to import oil from Iran. Holy smoke. Well, you know, hey, even Iran's not the best paradigm of economic production. Anytime you got a command economy, you've got issues, because you get a one-party system, whether it be what they have in Iran, whether it be communism or Nazism, whatever. When you get a one-party system, you get the worst corruption. And I would submit these concepts are fundamentally flawed in the beginning because they disincentivize production. They disincentivize people trying to aspire and create greatness, because they just don't have the incentives there. So the economies are going to suffer. But in a one-party system, power corrupts even more than normal. Absolute power is easier to achieve, which corrupts absolutely. Birds of a feather definitely flock together, and he who has the goal, as always, makes the rule. So there you go, my friends. Corruption rampant. So the country of Venezuela can't even produce petroleum when they're petroleum rich, and their people are starving to death. Wow, what a system, what a system. Now, I've heard of it, oh, it's because of corruption. Well, yeah, you get corruption in the systems like it. Come on, guys. So I'm going to do another share here. I'm going to show you a little bit about Venezuela. Hang on. Go back here. There we are. So check this out. This is a site on Venezuela. Facts and figures. Talk about population and millions of inhabitants. 32 million, about like Canada. So it's a whole lot smaller in Canada. Land area, 1,000 square miles. Yeah, much smaller in Canada. But check down here. Value of petroleum exports. Well, then when this was done in 2019, they were still exporting petroleum. So why are they importing? Strange. But here's what's interesting. Proven crude oil reserves in millions of barrels. So it's 303,000 million barrels, 806 million barrels. And look, check out the natural gas in million cubic feet. 20,599 million cubic feet. Well, for a little country that's got a land area of about 1,000 square kilometers, that's not too bad. You got a population roughly like Canada. Well, you know what? Alaska pays people dividends. They're pretty near this stuff. So, yeah, there's something wrong going on in Venezuela big time, my friends. So, Venezuela is not a stable country, as we know. And because it's not a stable country, you know, I did that other report, you know, asking could something be launched from there, could attack our power grid. And everybody, oh, Venezuela wouldn't do that. Of course, Venezuela wouldn't do it. Even I doubt even if they got these long-range missiles, they might. Especially, you know, the regime Maduro, it feels like we're about to knock him out. He's going to be a psychopath, probably. You know, anybody that rises to power in a totalitarian system is far more likely to be a psychopath. So it means they don't care about their people. They just care about themselves and their power. And you better consider other countries in that league too, North Korea, you know, China, and many other countries where you have a totalitarian system ruled by one person, especially cult of personality, like in North Korea, is subject more so than lots of places, those kind of tendencies. Doesn't mean it's the only one, and it doesn't mean it will happen there. I'm just saying they're more subject to that kind of tendency. Now, all these things said, the thing is, and the proposition is that Venezuela being an unstable country and having so many players there, be it, Putin is not exactly a Sunday school picnic kid, my friends. So Russia, North Korea, Iran, and China all play in Venezuela. Any of these countries can go, or somebody else can go offshore from Venezuela and launch something. Venezuela wouldn't even necessarily know about it. Go offshore a few miles and get on a ship. Nobody's going to know what you're doing. Been there, done that. I got the ticket to show it. I've launched balloons from altitude balloons with rockets hanging from ships in the Gulf of Mexico. And I've done it more than once, my friend. And launched other balloons in the same sad manner. Therefore, be it known, it can be done. And everybody's not going to know what you're doing. In fact, maybe nobody knows what you're doing. The North Korean Chung gang steaming around down there with 2 fully erect missiles and missile launchers in the cargo hold of the ship, while somebody was attacking the Metcalf station in San Jose, and about the time, the first time their satellite flew over Washington, D.C. Highly interesting. Doesn't mean these guys will do it, but it fits in the MO what's thought to be how these things would go down in terms of multi-pronged attacks, cyber, kinetic, missile, maybe fractional bombardment from space, if you got that kind of technology, as North Korea obviously could. And of course, there's that dimension of, wag the dog if the leaders feel threatened, or, just whole psychopath game. Because they don't really care. There's bound to be one of them, and there's several players here that can all, or somebody else can go down there. And if somebody else launches them down, you'd think it was one of these other players. Just saying, it could be done. And it has been seen in a vision by Stacy of Sustainable Stewards. She saw this in a vision from Jesus. And she was a lady that milked cows. So how in the world, she didn't know anything about EMPs, especially military strategy, tactics. And yet she saw an EMP attack with 2 missiles coming right off the coast of Venezuela. And she knew nothing about strategy, tactics of an operation like that. So highly interesting, just highly interesting. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to be done. I'm just saying it's highly interesting. We need to be ready. We need to prep, get ourselves ready. We need to pray. We definitely need to pray that we don't fall on these things. We need to pray for our country, the United States, with all these tensions coming up with election. People around the world are facing tensions too. We need to pray for them. I do things. I've started Freedom Restoration Foundation. I've chaired 2 power grid defense conferences. I've come on here and I got videos on this channel telling you what to do to get your grid hardened. I've got some videos about what to do to protect your stuff. We'll do more on those in the future. But my friends, we just got to take care of ourselves. But one thing I want to do, I'm going to add to this. We're going to do some more prayer sessions, because if you've seen my special, The Universe in a Solo Cup, I talk about the power of prayer. I talk about the power of intention. And either we got that in free will, or God would be a tyrant, because then everything you're ever going to do has already been determined to the last T, and you'd just be living through it. And you'd have no free will, which would be kind of like saying, okay, God created millions of souls for the purpose of going to hell and burn. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second. Therefore, I believe we have free will, a multiverse, and power to our prayers as we're told and commanded to pray, and to our intentions, power of intention. Now, I'm not going to be on here and telling anybody how to pray or what religion to pray with, because that's not the purpose of this channel. This is not a religious channel. But I do believe that prayer, intention, and meditation can change outcomes. So we're going to have some more of these sessions. We're going to have probably one the night before the election, that Monday night on the 2nd. I do have my live session on Wednesday. So probably the Wednesday after the session. And then there's a special Wednesday coming up the week after, November 11th. I'm a veteran. It's Veterans Day. So the 11th minute of the 11th hour, or the 11th day of the 11th month, we're going to have a session, a prayer session, special one on my channel. And we're going to pray for the future of this country and the world, that we get through this. And I may add to that, but I think it's time to return to that for a couple times. I know some subscribers don't like it. I'm not, like I said, if you have no faith at all, that's fine. Meditate. Go out and shine your light to the world. That's what I ask. I mean, anybody can do that, whether you have faith or not. And if you have faith, I'm not telling you what faith to have. Each should pray according to their own faith. Because I am not a religious channel. It's not the subject or purpose of my channel. Now, if I ever decide to have one, I'll start up a separate channel for that. Okay? All right. I don't know that I'm going to do that. So, yeah, but you never know how you might be called down the road. All right, my friends. I just wanted to say that. I want to say that go to half-space at AOL.com and type in the word freedom in the subject line if you want to support our Freedom Restoration Foundation. Yeah, let me stop this share. Yeah, Venezuela's oil rich. What's going on with them? Type in tribes if you want to join our network that we're putting together for survival tribes. And we've also got a Facebook site, until they knock us out for the Freedom Restoration Foundation. Come in and join. There's some chats and posts, but hopefully we'll get some posts going on there of things that you can do to make a difference. We do have legislation we're tracking on various things of great interest to many of you. And holy smoke, there's lots coming at us fast and furious. So we're really going to have to work and be diligent to maintain and restore our freedoms. Remember, the name that we chose is the Freedom Restoration Foundation. Don't tread on my freedoms. All right, my friends, with all that said, we're trying to do things. We're trying to make it a better world. Go out and be the light to the world. Shine your love light to the world. And let's hope we can make it better. Let's hope all these bad things don't come to pass. But as always, I say pray for the best and prep for the worst. So get ready. Have your eyes wide open, head on a swivel, because it looks like a lot of stuff's coming at us. And pray, but don't ever, ever, ever lose your composure. Always stay even. Always being even, Steven. Never panic. All right, my friends, thank you for watching.